Hello, Liverpool fans. Welcome to the Liverpool Report, your go-to source for the latest news, match updates, and transfer stories straight from Anfield. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that subscribe button now and stay in the loop with all things Reds.
It's another blow for Darwin Nunez, as Napoli complete the signing of Lorenzo Luca, effectively closing the door on a move for Liverpool's misfiring number 9. Nunez, once a record signing at Anfield, is now facing an uncertain future after falling out of favour under Arne Slot. With Napoli opting for a cheaper alternative and other clubs hesitant, Liverpool may be forced to take a major financial hit. Can Nunez revive his career elsewhere, or are the Reds stuck with a player their manager no longer trusts? Let's break it all down. Napoli have completed the signing of Lorenzo Luca from Udinese, which looks to have closed a possible Liverpool exit route for Darwin Nunez, who had been linked with the Italian side. The Serie A champions confirmed on Friday that they had landed the 25-year-old frontman, initially on loan, but with an obligation to buy. Antonio Conte had been looking to add more firepower to his side, but has not chosen to pursue Nunez. Signing Luca was a far cheaper alternative for Napoli, who also want to strengthen other areas of their squad. It leaves the Uruguayan, who was formerly Liverpool's record signing when he joined in 2022, with an even more uncertain summer ahead of him. His departure after 3 years at Anfield is expected, despite him playing and scoring in the recent pre-season win at Preston. Liverpool haven't been shy in pursing a new No. 9 and are in talks with Frankfurt to sign Hugo Ekitike in a deal potentially worth more than 80 million as Arne Slot eyes more firepower. It became apparent last term that the Dutchman wasn't sold on Nunez, who has consistently been let down by his finishing, which has meant he hasn't delivered on his fee. Any move to Napoli, though, now appears to be off the cards. Liverpool will have to take a financial hit on the money they spent to sign him from Benfica. Back in January, they rejected an offer from a club in Saudi Arabia, despite the player being open to a move to the Middle East, but a little over 6 months on, and finding a buyer has proved challenging. Nunez, who has scored 40 times across his 3 seasons, has been linked with clubs in Spain and Italy. Atletico Madrid too have been credited with interest, but are well stocked in attack and may not see the need to currently invest in the Uruguayan star. AC Milan are another potential destination, but would struggle to land him financially. Slot was very vocal in his criticism of Nunez last season after a draw at Aston Villa, where the forward missed a golden chance that would have won the game for Liverpool. He said, "I helped him by saying you can miss a chance. I wasn't only hard on him, but for the second time in a row, I wasn't happy with his work effort, against Wolves and against Villa. I can't accept if a player doesn't give everything, that is clear. I can accept it once, but twice was a bit too much. That's why I addressed it. If you miss a chance, you need to be fighting for the team. I'm not saying he didn't do that at all, but it wasn't the usual Darwin, the one that is loved by the fans. That is mainly because he always works so hard." Liverpool are moving fast to make Hugo Ekitike the club's new centre-forward and know that the equation to making the Eintracht Frankfurt theirs is a simple one. Frankfurt Chief Sporting Director Markus Krösche has already admitted that the German club are willing to sell their top stars if they outgrow their environment at the Deutsche Bank Park, and that includes their French striker. Ekitike has become the team's leading light, scoring 22 times last term as they qualified for the Champions League. His performances have subsequently led to major interest, not least from the Premier League. Newcastle made the first move, seeing a 70 million bid for the 23-year-old turned down by Frankfurt. With the Toon unwilling to sell Alexander Isak this summer, Liverpool have subsequently swooped and are in pole position, with the Frenchman keen to move to Anfield. The Reds approached Frankfurt on Wednesday to register their interest and later informed the club they are ready to bid. Now the two sides are in open contact looking to do a deal, with Ekitike having agreed a 6-year deal at Anfield already. It would be the second major name they've lost in a little over 6 months after strike partner Omar Marmoush moved to Manchester City in January for £59 million. Krösche has made clear that Frankfurt will let their top players seek pastures new when the time is right. He told Sporting in May he's one of the most interesting strikers on the European market. Hugo has to decide that. I'm glad we have him. If he decides otherwise, that's our motto. If a player develops faster than us, we let him go. Ekitike has an 85 million release clause in his deal, but Frankfurt won't hold out for that. Instead, they'll look to do a deal that gives them fair valuation, is a sizable increase on the 14 millions they paid PSG, and allows them to reinvest and improve a squad that qualified for the Champions League through league position for the first time. Liverpool are looking to further bolster their attacking options, with Darwin Nunez expected to leave the club. They have also been over-reliant on Mohamed Salah at times and want to help ease the burden on the Egyptian. The French forward has admitted he would like the chance to share the pitch with Marmoush again, which would involve him moving to England. He said last season, "I think he did everything he needed to do here. I'm happy to see him playing in England now. I try to watch his games whenever I can, especially when he's playing. I think we shared some great moments together, and I hope we can play together again or face each other soon." Liverpool have already spent north of 200 million this summer, which included them breaking the British transfer record to land Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. They have also signed Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Gyokeres. Darwin Nunez's Liverpool exit has hit a major roadblock. Napoli, long-time favourites to sign the struggling striker, have pulled the plug on negotiations after failing to meet Liverpool's 70 million valuation. With the Serie A giants now turning to Lorenzo Luca, Nunez is left in limbo, but could Saudi Arabia or La Liga offer him a way out? As Arne Slot looks to revamp the Reds' attack with stars like Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, is it finally time for Nunez to move on? Here's the full story. Liverpool will have to find a new buyer for Darwin Nunez after Napoli pulled the plug on negotiations. Nunez, 26, was ready to swap Merseyside for Naples after 3 difficult seasons at Anfield. The Uruguayan has failed to live up to his 85 million price tag, scoring 40 goals in 143 games since joining from Benfica in 2022. Liverpool's addition of Florian Wirtz, who can play as a centre-forward for 116 spans, plus their ambitious pursuit of Alexander Isak, has signalled that Arne Slot is looking to upgrade on Nunez for the upcoming season. Napoli were favourites to sign the striker, but Liverpool's demands have seen them turn to a cheaper alternative. The Premier League champions had set their asking price at 70 million, whereas Napoli were only willing to pay 50 million for Nunez. Instead, the Serie A title winners are set to sign Lorenzo Luca from Udinese. The 24-year-old will join Napoli on a season-long loan for 8.2 million, with an obligation to buy worth 22.5 million, with reports indicating that boss Antonio Conte is a big fan of Luca and has greenlit the move. Nunez could still find a way out though, with clubs in Saudi Arabia pushing for his services. It's been claimed that new Al Hilal boss Simone Inzaghi has identified the former Benfica star as a target if they fail to sign Victor Osimhen, who's on loan from Napoli but hasn't reported for pre-season training. Liverpool will be cautious of leaving themselves short in attack, however. Bayern Munich recently made a bid for Luis Diaz, who's also wanted by Barcelona, while the tragic death of Diogo Jota will also have sporting repercussions. Nunez last started a competitive match for the Reds on March 8th, scoring in a 3-1 win at home to bottom-of-the-table Southampton. The Uruguay international also got on the scoresheet when Liverpool faced Preston North End in their first pre-season friendly on Sunday, another 3-1 victory. Former Liverpool defender Marcus Babbel believes that it's time to move on though. The problem with Darwin Nunez is that he misses too many chances. I think it's got to the point where Arne Slot has lost confidence in him. I think the best thing for Nunez would be to move on from Liverpool, but it won't be easy because he'll be expensive. Babbel, speaking to Adventure Gamers, added, "I think Serie A or La Liga would be fantastic leagues for him because the defending isn't the best in Italy and Spain, especially in Spain. If you're a striker, then it's much easier to score goals in those countries. You look at Romelu Lukaku at Napoli, he was at rock bottom at Chelsea, but Conte brought him back to Serie A and he looks back to his best. Maybe if Darwin Nunez moved to Italy or Spain, it would be easier for him to get back to his best."